Gen Z. We're not kids anymore. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. Also, it sucks. Like, it sucks a little bit, a lot of it. Hopefully by the time I upload this, I'm still 21. There is a chance that when I post it, I'd have turned 22. Depends on whether or not I edit this and put it out on schedule. 22 is young, objectively. Like, I know that I'm still young. I think most people of reason can agree that I'm still young. To kids in high school, I'm geriatric. To them, I may as well be in a nursing home. Applesauce, like, dribble down the side of my face. When I went to USC, I thought I was gonna go there for like a year, maybe 2, and then I'll accomplish something like super cool and drop out and then be this like dope dropout millionaire guy. I thought I'd have a house with like a super open floor plan. You know what I'm talking about? Like one of those real modern drawings with a lot of glass, a lot of bitches, square footage and bitches. I thought that's where I would be. Unfortunately, I graduated and now I live at home in Jersey. I'm very fortunate to be able to like have a home to go back to. It's just that, you know, I'd hope that I'd be like a young rich, you know, and now like I'm just a, you see what I'm saying? Gen Z is really mean to old people. And now, according to some members of Gen Z, I am an old person. In this video, we're gonna examine some reasons as to why Gen Z is so harsh on old people. And at the end, we'll reminisce on some Gen Z specific things that only Gen Z people can relate to. Number 1, Gen Z is still young. Gen Z is defined by anyone born between 1997 and 2013. That's a fat window. That is a fat. My brother, who is 26 years old, is grouped into the same generation as people who are in middle school. When you're in middle school, you're so quick to point a finger and say, look at that old guy. He's so old and hairy and gross. And you're inclined to say that because you literally don't have any body hair. When you're not old, everything that's like encompasses being old is gross. When you're young, you're like, oh my God, ew, they're kissing. When you're old, you're like, oh, they're kissing, gross, get a room, because I want that to be me and I'm so lonely. When youth is like the one thing that you have going for you, you're gonna leverage that, right? Imagine you're a young kid at the store with their friends and then there's some old person who's like, hey, you kids, stop doing the thing that you objectively shouldn't be doing, but that is giving you so much joy in this moment. You and your friends are gonna look at each other and be like, shut up, old guy, you old fart. You probably got sores on your back with your old ass. You probably can't even reach back there with your old ass. You probably got a bidet, not out of convenience, but out of necessity with your old ass. But what you don't recognize when you're like at that age is that like you're gonna get there eventually. Or if you keep doing dumb at the mall, maybe not. Right before I left LA, I was at the mall with some of my college friends. We were on the second floor of a parking lot and we watched these teenagers just take turns jumping off the top of the parking structure. And it's like, why? If I was 30 and decided to jump off the roof of a parking structure, that could end my career. Currently, maybe it'll take me out for a couple days, but I'm thinking about that. Frankly, when you're a teenager, you're like, F it, dude, today is the only day and F it, we're gonna send it because we may never see tomorrow. That's a beautifully stupid way to live. Somebody called my 24-year-old sister lady, which threw her into an existential crisis, but that's just how things go. Like one day somebody's gonna be like, I was at the store and this middle-aged man reaches down and his whole butt was out. Like, ew, why do old people have butts? It was disgusting. And maybe that's how somebody will describe you unless you take good care of your butt. Make sure your booty nice. Wipe it. You only got one booty. 2 cheeks, 1 booty. Another reason why Gen Z is particularly unreceptive to old people is because old people kind of suck. Old people are always the best, but also the worst. You have a grandparent, it's like, oh my God, grandpa's so cute. Look at his suspenders and like the sores on the top of his head. He's so adorable. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, grandpa, you're so cute because you don't even realize how racist you're being right now. Because old people, like at a certain point, they get out of touch. And it's not even just a matter of like having dementia. Sometimes it's just like being out of touch with the current social landscape. I don't know where I heard this, but I heard that like we tend to lock in on what we regard as cool. And in doing so, it blocks us off from evolving with the times. There's some people who still put on their skinny jeans and say, you know what, I look good today. And that's great for them. Like that is such a great amount of self-confidence to have in oneself, especially when you look like a 5th Jonas brother. When you look at Gary Vee.
I bought this Busch Garden snow globe for $2 and the mom was like, I don't want to sell it. And I was like, I'll sell it back for $3.
You look at Gary Vee and you're like, yo, that's a guy whose definition of cool got locked in at 2012. You can tell by the beanie he's wearing. And you know what? Hats off to Gary Vee. If that's his definition of cool, live your truth, man. And that's old people being adorable. Gary Vee without his beanie looks like Mr. Mackey. Minus the glasses, yeah, that's accurate. The biggest reason why I think Gen Z is hard on old people is because of internalized unrealistic expectations. Gen Z is the one generation that has been fully inundated with media from the time they like got out the womb. Cause yeah, like if you were born in 2013, like you are an iPad kid. When you're online to that extent and just like exposed to the internet to that degree, you're exposed to the best of the best at like all the time. I remember I was at the barbershop and I saw this news segment about this like 9-year-old kid who was in college. Nowadays, you look up 9-year-old college and it shows you a 9-year-old college graduate, somebody who finished their degree at 9. I graduated in May, and when people asked me how I was feeling, like I described, like I'm kind of numb right now. My parents were like, what do you mean you feel numb? Graduating is such a big deal. You should feel proud of yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I would be proud of myself if I graduated at 9 years old, like the last guy. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys for a second. And all I ask is that you do not call me a Fruit Loop soy boy in the comments, okay? I'm about to get vulnerable. I was in my junior year of high school when I had my first ever panic attack. There I was in my dorm room. I was studying for the SAT and I take a break. I grab my phone, I go on YouTube, and just from my recommended feed, I see a video of Damien Chazelle accepting his Oscar, right? And he was the youngest person to ever win Best Director for La La Land. And I'm watching this thing, and suddenly, like I'm shaking. The room feels like it's getting smaller, but I feel like I'm expanding, like my whole chest feels like it's about to explode. And I get this overwhelming feeling that I'll never quite be able to reach that esoteric sort of place. Y'all, I was being vulnerable as in that moment. Like I was feeling a lot of pressure. Damien Chazelle actually went to high school not too far away from where I went to high school, and he went to Harvard, eventually got to direct Whiplash and then La La Land, and the rest is history. And in that moment, as I was preparing for the SAT, I'm like, dude, like if I don't take those exact same steps and cross those same benchmarks at the same time that he did, that I'll never be able to even do what he does. I'm not setting out to win an Oscar. Like I'm not coming out the gates like, bruh, if I don't win an Oscar, like I'm shooting up I'm not saying any of that. I wouldn't do that. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who feels this way. And that's why I'm sharing this experience, so that hopefully you don't feel like a Fruit Loop soy boy talking about it, okay? Because you're never alone. And if you feel like you need some help, maybe try out today's sponsor. Give me a therapist, please. I need help.com. Psych, this video is not sponsored, but it should be. Y'all know where to reach me. Hit my line. Send on like a fun note. I'm gonna pull this up because this is insane to me. We got early 2020s childhood starter pack. 25% of this starter pack is dedicated to civil unrest. Dog, we got January 6th, pandemic, the 2020 election, and the conflict in Ukraine. Like these are the defining moments for kids growing up in the early 2020s. Cyber Chase, we share that one. Cyber Chase, the fact that they're still airing new episodes of Cyber Chase actually gives me hope for the future. Cocomelon is gonna be the end of our existence. Anyway, listen guys, let's continue to relish in our shared experiences of life, from Minecraft to Roblox to insurrections. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. And when you leave a comment, leave something juicy. Don't be like, hi. Like make it juicy. Make it juicy, okay? Make it real tantalizing. Make it tantalizing for me, please.